find the stream. Hopefully it isn't too far away. There it is. Yeah, it's loading onto the channel as I speak. Hopefully it won't take too long. Yep. Audio is working as it should. The stream's up, the chat's up, we're all good to go. Now we don't have to wait long, folks. Attendance wasn't particularly spectacular from the last time I checked it anyway. So should have about 14, 15 drivers, something like that, for this Miami Grand Prix, which is fine. It's a more than healthy size field, so hopefully we get to see an entertaining race. Just ticked over the hour, so we shouldn't be far away from the ready up signal being given. Once it is, we can move on to qualifying. Let's see here. Already up gifted just yet. This will prove to be a very interesting race in regards to the context of the Drivers' Championship in particular. The Constructors' Championship is pretty heavily favoured to one particular team. Talk about that once we get into the introduction. Captain Subfoline, he's the new captain for this tier, it seems. He's given the ready up signal. When that timer hits 0, start the intro as per normal and we can get this thing underway. Alrighty. Hello everyone and welcome to round 14 of the America's Tier 1 Championship here on Race Spec Esports. I'm Lane Everingham, your commentator for this event, and this time we're at Miami International Autodrome for the Miami Grand Prix. One of the newest additions to the Formula One world, Miami International Autodrome was constructed in 2021 and became the 11th circuit in the United States to host a Formula One Grand Prix. The circuit measures up at 3.36 miles. It consists of 19 corners and 3 DRS zones that lead into the prime overtaking spots of Turn 1, Turn 11 and Turn 17. It's a narrow circuit with concrete walls lingering not too far away from the racing surface, so a single mistake around any part of this racetrack could prove costly. The main technical areas the drivers will have to worry about are the tricky traction zone between turns 2 and 3, the high-speed S's of turns 4, 5 and 6, and the Mickey Mouse complex formed by turns 12 through 16. It's a slow, tight and cumbersome section of circuit where drivers can fall foul to the terrible in-game physics of F1 22. Now before we focus on qualifying, there is a bit of news to go through first from last week's race in Baku. There's only one incident report. It's an interesting one that happened between Flavius and Mr. Nars, both of them competing in today's race. And it was an incident I didn't quite pick up on during qualifying, but I saw the end of it anyway, where Flavius running off into the runoff area at turn 4 and disqualifying himself from the session. Seems that he was pretty upset with what Mr. Nars did to him, exiting the pits, getting ready for his final flying lap. What happened was both drivers left the pit lane and Flavius was leaving the pits a bit slowly, I suppose. He was just making sure he wasn't going to impede anyone who was attempting a flying lap. And Mr. Nars, he essentially floored it right into the back of him, crashing the pair of them just as soon as they left pit lane. It was a very peculiar accident all round. There weren't any time penalties dished out, but Mr. Nars has received a qualifying ban for this event here in Miami. So Mr. Nars, so long as he knows that, will be starting from plumb last for this Miami Grand Prix. He'll be allowed to do an out lap just to confirm the setup he's put on the car, but yeah, he's got a quali ban for this race, so a doozy of a penalty, but I suppose really sends a message over to the drivers in both qualifying and in the race. You have to be alert of all other drivers around you. So no time penalties were dished out by the stewards post-race. So the final finishing positions from the race in Baku remain completely unchanged. And this is the big story heading into the event, the Drivers' Championship standings. We have Mighty Wombat leading the way on 259 points, with Saucy, who's just commented, a wet race for this Miami Grand Prix. Interesting. In Elite and in Pacific Tier 1, it was dry. So, got a wet weather race on standby for the Americas tier, so that's going to be very interesting to see how the drivers fare in those conditions. Yeah, Saucy 7 points behind Mighty Wombat on 252 points, with Blockman, the man on screen right now, who's got a huge amount of form going on. He's third on 246 points, just 13 behind the championship leader and 6 behind Saucy in the Aston Martin. Rebellion is still in mathematical contention. He's on 214 points, 45 behind the championship leader with 2 rounds to go. He is definitely in championship contention. Completing the table, we have RF1 Tom on 177 points, followed by KD 1997 on 131. Then we have Young Ling on 126, Mr. Nas on 122. Then we have Take It Easy on 114, and Subforline rounds out the top 10 on 107 points. In the Constructors' Championship, it's a bit less convincing, with Alpine leading the way on 460 points. Mercedes-AMG are P2 in the standings on 390. It's 70 points separating the top 2 in the Team's Championship. In fact, if Alpine outscore Mercedes by 5 points or more tonight, they will become the Season 8 America's Tier 1 Team's Champion. In third place, we have Aston Martin on 303, followed by McLaren on 284. Ferrari on 197 are next, followed by Williams on 132. Rebel Racing on 122. Then we have Haas on 99. AlphaTauri on 74. Alfa Romeo at the bottom of the table on 55 points. Now, with news out of the way, we can see what kind of benchmark time Blockman will set here as he makes his way up towards the finish line. It's going to be a 1 minute 27.165. That is the benchmark for everyone else to try and beat. We've got Saucy getting ready for a run. He's making his way down the back straightaway. Tell you what, we might ride on board with the Aston Martin driver, give you a tour of this 3.4 mile 19 turn circuit. Nice tidy exit out of turn 17, round turn 18, then turn 19. He'll send it down the main straightaway to begin his flying lap. 8th gear, he'll enter turn 1 at 194 miles an hour, bring it down to 3rd, then short shift up to 4th as he heads through turns 2 and 3. Very tricky area of the racetrack, very easy to get it all wrong. Out of the right-hand sweeper, he'll head towards the S's now of turn 4, into the right of turn 5, then the triple left-hander of turn 6, 7, and turn 8. Somehow this is a triple left-hander. I don't really see it, but it is on the official track map, so I can't argue against it. Up towards turn 9, this little right-hand kink, he'll open DRS and head around the left-hand kink of turn 10 and up towards the best overtaking spot on the circuit, turn 11. It's a very interesting overtaking spot on the calendar. I'll talk more about it later. We'll head around turn 12, the beginning of this Mickey Mouse section. You have to be so careful on the throttle out of turn 13, through the chicane of 14 and 15, and up towards the equally tricky turn 16. It's important that you get a nice run through that left-hander so you can maximize the top speed heading down this back straightaway towards turn 17. Another decent overtaking spot. It is a bit more difficult. It's a very tight corner. So it's very easy to make contact with your rival when you're trying to pass through here. Short shifting up to 4th gear, he'll make his way around turn 18 and up towards the final corner of 19. To complete the lap, Saucy will go 6th fastest with a 28.4. Oh, harm assist in the wall. That is at the chicane. Hopefully he didn't impede anyone too badly. Mr. Nars on an outlap. He'll just do an outlap, confirm the setup. He'll more than likely retire in just a few moments' time as Rebel is sending it down the back straightaway towards the hairpin of turn 17. 208 miles an hour is the peak speed heading into the hairpin, with an apex speed set at 44 miles an hour. So you're shaving off 160 miles an hour into the corner. Ridiculous stuff as Rebel jumps to the top. 1 minute 26.971. Now, if I recall correctly, the pole time for Pacific Tier 1 was at 26.5, with the pole prediction set at 26.2. So we'll see if either Rebel or Blockman can get close to that. They're on red-hot form right now. Looks somewhat untouchable, really. Take it easy out on track. I think Saucy's on an in-lap. Yeah, Mr. Nars with a qualifying ban after what happened at Baku. Like I said before, it's a doozy of a penalty for what happened with him. He's going to do a donut. Say hello to the virtual fans and say hello to the real fans watching along. Hasn't bogged anything, that's the most important thing. But yeah, a proper doozy of a penalty for what happened. Take it easy. He's taking it very easy down this back straightaway. There's an Alpine. That will be Rebel. He'll be making his way back towards the pits. Take it easy. He's getting out of the way. Rebel flies on by. Alright, take it easy. He'll switch on the battery, exiting turn 17. Should be sending it, but he's not sending it. What he's actually doing is a preparation lap. So he's doing an out lap right now. He'll cross the line here. Normally you would attempt a flying lap, but he isn't doing that. What he's trying to do is burn some extra fuel in the car, so then when he comes back round to attempt a flying lap, the car will be nice and light. Got Sub for Lime and one of the Mercs going slowly because they were trying to let Take It Easy through, even though he's not on a flying lap. Alright, Blockman, he's out. Mighty Wombat, he was Mercedes behind Sub for Lime. Getting his tyres ready. KD getting ready as well. He's got Youngling just in front of him. Blockman sending it down into turn 17. He gets it pulled up. He'll switch on the battery. There we go. Out of turn 18 and around the final corner. He'll begin his flying lap with 9 minutes left in the session. We're at the halfway mark in this qualifying session here at Miami. Out of turn 1. Short shifting up to 3rd gear, 4th gear, 5th gear. 6th gear, round turn 3. The back end can get really, really loose through there, so you need to be so careful applying the accelerator through turn 3. Similar story here through the triple left-hander. You have to be very careful on the accelerator, particularly at the exit of turn 8. Blockman, that's a pretty tidy first sector. He's up by 100th of a second. Up towards turn 11 now. Peak speed we're going to see here, 204, 205, 206, 207 miles an hour into turn 11. Short shift up to 3rd gear, back down to 2nd gear. Short shift up to 3rd again, up to 4th gear as he makes his way into the chicane of 14 and 15, up towards turn 16. There's a Haas off the side of the road. That will be Little Mick trying to keep out of the way, and that's a stopped Red Bull there. That will be Mr. Nars more than likely. Down the incredibly long back straightaway up towards turn 17. Pulls it up. Down to 2nd gear. Short shift to 3rd, 4th gear, 5th gear. Out of turn 18. Around the final corner. Blockman crosses the line. Improves by a 10.5. It's not enough for pole. He's missed out by, what's that, 45 thousandths of a second as Rebel is getting ready to attempt the flying lap. Our provisional pole sitter here for the Miami Grand Prix. He'll send it down towards turn 1. Mighty Wombat down in the first sector. KD's up. Oh, that's a bit of a distraction as KD decides to bail on the lap. So yeah, maybe a bit distracted with Youngling's car. He must have made a mistake out of turn 17. Rebel, no mistake so far. Through turn 5, up towards turn 6. Modulating the throttle well as he brings it down to 3rd gear. Back on the power. Reaches full throttle. He's up by 2.5 tenths to the first sector. Around turn 10. Up towards turn 11. Entry speed 207 miles an hour, just as the exact same speed as his teammate entering turn 11. Bompton's jumped up to P3 in the Red Bull, 27.586, beating Mighty Wombat's time by a little under 1/10 of a second. Alpine right in front of Rebel, as his teammate giving him a tow. So some teamwork here from the Alpine duo, even though they've already got half a second on the rest of the field. They're still willing to work together, try and pull away from the rest of the pack. Coming out to turn 17, up towards the final two corners. Rebel will come around the final turn to cross the line. It's a 26.670, improves by 0.3 of a second. Bompton on an in-lap. Saucy on an in-lap as well, if I'm not mistaken. Sub for Lime. Looks like he's on an in-lap too. He's not using any battery. Sergeant Bell getting ready for a run. Flavius in the middle of a run, making his way through the very tricky Mickey Mouse section. Taking it nice and steady. It's very easy to get it all wrong through here. Put it into a barrier or spin out and lose time, as he's up by 73 thousandths to the middle sector. Sergeant Bell making his way out of turn 3. Heading up towards the S's now. Chucks it through turn 4. Round turn 5. Bring it up to 7th gear. You bring it back down to 2nd. Spin! Oh, dearie me. The back end just gave way. The Alfa Romeo spun round. And that will end Bill's flying lap attempt. Fortunately, it hasn't ended his qualifying session. Sparty out on track, getting ready to do a flying lap attempt. KD has spun at pit lane entry. So on cold tyres, he's lost it. He's got it back in the right direction. Can't see any damage either on the Silver Arrow, so he should be A-OK. He's got just over 4 minutes left in qualifying. Gap between P3 and P5 is pretty close. It's less than 1/10 of a second, and Saucy's not too far away. Neither is Youngling in P7, so we've got a really tight fight between 5 cars in the top half of the field. Just the two Alpines, they are long gone. Like I said, Blockman's got half a second to the next car. Rebel, he's got a little under 4/10 to his own teammate. KD. Still got his battery turned on. Try and save a bit here. Yeah, that's alright. It's an outlap. Don't need to worry about track limits as much, so long as you don't significantly cut the racetrack. Otherwise, you'll probably get in trouble. Sparty on the flying lap, making his way around turn 9 up towards turn 10. DRS open. Kind of peak speed we will see here from the AlphaTauri. We saw 207 indicated from the two Alpines. See 208 indicated. So Sparty running slightly lower wings as Rebels retired in the pit lane. He's done with qualifying, as KD will begin his final flying lap attempt, what could be his final flying lap attempt, into turn 1, down to 3rd gear, back on the power. He'll make his way round turn 2, then turn 3. Very steady on the exit. He has plenty of grip available to him. He had a great run through the right-hander of 3. Round 4, into 5, then turn 6. Subfalime getting well out of the way. That's a fair point. With wet weather conditions coming in the race, yeah, you probably want a set of softs just to play with, just in case. KD making his way up towards turn 11. Peak speed 209, briefly indicated there. Fastest I've seen so far. Round turn 12 through 13. Then the chicane on 14 and 15. It's been a very tidy lap so far. Out of turn 16. Up towards the second timing intermediate. He's up by 2.5 tenths. That sort of improvement. He'll definitely take P3 away from Bobton. Up towards turn 17. From 210 miles an hour brings it all the way down to 48, briefly indicated at the apex of turn 17. Up towards the final corner for KD. He'll improve. It's P3 with a 27.393. His teammate getting ready for his final run. Same with Saucy. Same with Youngling. Actually, he's on his final run, but he was down to the first sector. Is he still pushing? Let's see. Yes, he is. He's gained time back in the middle sector. Make his way down the back straight away towards turn 17. Getting on the brakes hard. Right there at the 100-meter board. At the second. Back on the power. Round turn 18. Then the final corner. Can Youngling improve? No, he can't. Misses out by 24 thousandths of a second. Saucy making his way through the opening sector and around the triple left-hander of 6, 7 and 8. Mighty Wombat's up by 26 thousandths to the first sector. Saucy's invalidated the run. That's it. Qualifying is done for the Aston Martin driver. The best he can hope for is P6. Around turn 11 goes Mighty Wombat. Bompton is down to the first sector. Blockman is up by a tenth and a... Sorry, no, he's just started a flying lap. Gee whiz, that was a quick change of direction through turns 4 and 5. As Blockman makes his way towards the first timing intermediate. Blockman is down by 25 thousandths of a second. Bompton making his way through the middle sector. Mighty Wombat is up by 4 tenths of a second in the second sector. Making his way around turn 17. Up towards turn 18. Then the final corner of 19. Up towards the line for Wombat. It's a 27.1. It is P3. A Mercedes 3-4. Just behind an Alpine 1-2. Bompton around turn 17. He'll make his way towards the final 2 corners on the racetrack. He'll cross the line to set a 27.8. It's not enough. He does not improve. Blockman's up by a tenth of a second to the middle sector. Needs to string together a pretty tidy final sector if he wants to knock off his teammate and take pole position. He'll make his way around the final corner, cross the line. It is P2 for Blockman, a 26.960. He cannot beat his teammate. He's missed out by a fair chunk. 3 tenths of a second. Flavius will cross the line. He'll improve by 6 tenths. He jumps up to P12 with a 29.5. Sergeant Bill has invalidated his final run. He will not be improving. He will start from 14th place for this Miami Grand Prix. There we are. An Alpine 1-2, Mercedes 3-4. The top 2 in the team's championship lining up on the first 2 rows. Bompton in the Red Bull, rounding out the top 5. So, results from qualifying, there's the gaps. 3 tenths of a second separating the top 2 at the end of qualifying. Rebel from Blockman, Mighty Wombat P3, followed by his teammate KD in 4th, then Bompton in 5th, then we have Saucy in 6th, followed by Youngling 7th, Mick 8th, Take It Easy in 9th, and Sunferline rounds out the top 10. We have the Harmless P11, followed by Flavius in 12th, Sparty 13th, then Sergeant Bill. Mr. Nars will start from the back after serving a qualifying van in 15th position. Alright, race time. We're set for some slippery conditions for the start of this Miami Grand Prix. Whether it's wet or intermediate conditions, well, let's find out. More than likely intermediate. I did get a message from Rebel that the wet weather wasn't set to stay for very long. So we're probably going to have intermediate conditions for the start of the Grand Prix. Alrighty. As you can see, it is raining, and it does look like it's intermediate conditions. There aren't any huge puddles in pit lane. You can see intermediate tyres in KD's garage. So, yeah, this isn't full wet conditions. Nowhere near full wet. Drivers really do need to be on their toes then for the start of this race. They're going to be completely loose. Those cars are really, really going to be loose. It'll be very easy to make a mistake. So during this opening period, drivers just need to try and survive. Get to the dry conditions. There's the clock. It's appeared a bit early. Hopefully the drivers have had enough time. Try and adjust their setups accordingly. Don't know if any drivers would adjust their setups knowing that there are dry conditions coming. I think a lot of drivers will just run a dry setup in these conditions and just try and fight the car, essentially. Alright, drivers lined up. They've all got intermediate tyres on as well. As you can see, not a single driver on the wets. So we don't need the tyre detail graphic at all for the start of this race. We know who's starting on what tyre because they're all starting on the same tyre. Lovely stuff. Yeah, for the context of the championship, 3 of the drivers who are competing for that driver's title are starting right at the front of the field. Saucy, the worst place of the top 4, he's down in P6, so he needs to try and get up to Wombat and Blockman in particular as soon as possible. There's a predicted pit stop strategy. Don't really need that when we got mixed conditions on the way. That pit stop strategy stuff is completely worthless to me. Thanks for the messages, everyone, for the weather. Yeah, it is helpful getting messages from drivers knowing what the weather's going to be like. That's just something I've wished they've had as early as 2019 when I started commentary, was some sort of graphic I can look at to see what the weather's going to be like throughout the race. As a couple of drivers have been disqualified, namely Flavius and Sergeant Bill. They've collided on this formation lap and they've been teleported back to the grid. Hopefully they don't have cold tyres for the start of the race because, as we know, cold tyres have no grip. In these conditions you have no grip, so cold intermediate tyres in intermediate conditions, that's not a good combo. Not a good combo at all. Now Rebel, who'll be lining up from pole position, has the outside line heading towards turn 1. All he needs to do is make sure his teammate Blockman doesn't get in front of him after the apex of turn 1. If Blockman gets in front at the apex of turn 1, he'll have the dominant position at turn 3 to take the lead away from Rebel. Rebel needs to keep his nose in front entering the opening corner. So then he can have the best shot possible of leading out of the opening complex. We've got 29 laps in front of us and 10 red lights. We're underway here at Miami. It's a nice start from Monty Wombat, it looks like. Same with Bompton in the Red Bull. He draws alongside, tries to move round the outside. Oh, and the two Mercs have come together. Wombat and KD bumped, and around goes Wombat. Oh, dearie me, a terrible start for the Silver Arrows, as Little Mick and Take It Easy are battling for 5th place. And Sparty is out, he has crashed in the opening section, and we have a virtual safety car. A shunt at turn 3, a big shunt at turn 3, as Saucy's had a horrible start. He's missing a front wing on that Aston Martin. Flavius is missing an end plate. Mr. Nars, his car looks okay, and Wombat, after a spin earlier, well, he got to avoid all of that. He's down in 14th position. But that's the start the Alpine duo need. Rebel and Blockman, 1 and 2 with Bompton in 3rd. Youngling in 4th, Take It Easy in 5th place, up 4 positions from the start. Then we have Little Mick up 2, Harmacist up 4, Subfalime up 2. KD, he went into the back of his teammate, I definitely saw that. I don't know if he was helped into his teammate. I definitely saw him hit the back of his teammate, that's for sure. And we're back on the green flag conditions here at Miami International Autodrome. Pretty dramatic start. Hopefully the drivers can settle down and get on with it. Towards turn 17 we go as Wombat gets by Mr. Nas. That's for 13th position. Nas cannot fight back into turn 17. Got drivers in. We got Sergeant Bell, Saucy in. Flavius is in as well, so evidently he did get damaged. Same with Mr. Nas. So quite a few cars involved in that opening lap shunt in the first sector. Rebels leading the way. He's got 9/10 to Blockman already. Seems that he's negotiating these wet weather conditions pretty well. Blockman in P2. Bompton holding P3 with Youngling right behind. KD, Subfalime battling away. Subfalime, I think, is missing an end plate. Yes, he is. So he's got front wing damage. He'll need to pit and get that car fixed. Youngling closing in on Bompton. He's using the battery. He'll go down the inside. Attempt to move here at turn 11. Turn 11 is a very interesting corner to try and overtake, because you can try and send it down the inside. Try and complete a conventional dive bomb. But additionally, you can try and send it round the outside of turn 11. So you can try and have the dominant position entering turn 12, the right-hander. It's a very interesting corner to overtake, because it's not just dive bombs down the inside, you can try and send it round the outside too. Saucy getting by Sergeant Bill. Here we go, a conventional dive bomb down the inside, he moves through. KD, with the straight line speed that he's got, moves by the Harmacist into P7. So he's trying to recover the lost time at the beginning of the race. He needs to close in by 2.5 seconds to get onto the back of Little Mick, who is hunting down Take It Easy in P5. Still an Alpine 1-2. Rebel leads. Blockman second. Bompton in third. Nice aerial shot here, looking down at the racetrack. Get a real sense of the geography of the circuit and just how much stuff there is around this place, around this marina, quote-unquote, section. All those yachts in the middle of a pool, essentially. Don't know why they bothered doing that. It looks so silly. As Wombat gets by Subfalime as well. So Sub here, he's just trying to battle on with that broken front wing. He doesn't want to pit and lose time. He just wants to keep going. Either wait for a safety car or a virtual safety car, or even when the dry conditions finally come around, then he'll change his front wing. Seems that this battle isn't over between Bompton and Youngling. Yellows, that is Sergeant Bell spinning at turn 7. Gets pointed back in the right direction. He's now down in 14th. Here's your top two. Rebel still leads from Blockman. 1 second separating the pair. Bompton in third with Youngling right behind. Closing to within 3.5 tenths of the Red Bull. Close enough to attack into turn 17. Here's a pass, so Mighty Wombat on the straightaway gets by the Harmacist. Rebel sets a new fastest lap of a 36.8. No one else has been able to beat that. We have a look at fastest laps. 36.8, 37.1. Yellow's out. It's Sergeant Bill, who has spun at turn 16. He's going to have to do a 3-point turn to get it pointed back in the right direction. And he's successful in doing that. But yeah, Rebel 36.8. Blockman 37.1, 37.7, 37.8 as Saucy sets a new fastest lap. He's sending it at 36.4. He's got a lot of catching up to do. A lot of catching up to do. Down towards turn 11. Take it easy, not close enough, and it seems that Youngling's lost a little bit of time to Bompton as well. The gap's increased to 1.1 seconds. Needs to keep his head down and try and close that gap back up. Around turn 16. Notice as well, a lot of drivers with red fuel icons, so a fair few drivers electing to underfuel their cars. Try and have a lighter race car over the course of the race. There's also a pretty decently high chance of a safety car at some point. That'll help them to try and save the fuel that they've dumped away at the start. Now lap 5 of 29, we've got a long way to go. The rain is still coming down, you can see the rain droplets on the halo. So it hasn't stopped just yet, but the track does look a bit drier now. Wait and see when the rain eventually ends. Oh, a wiggle there from Mick. He loses time. Lost control through turn 3. Managed to get the car stopped. He regained control, but he's now got KD on the back of him. Get around the triple left-hander. Coming out to turn 8. The gap sits at half a second. KD's already used a fair chunk of his battery. Little Mick has got a fair, decent supply. 56%. So KD will be able to deploy that battery to try and catch up. And have a look. The rain droplets have stopped falling. So we're now in that in-between phase of intermediate and dry conditions. Oh, that was a bit of lag. The drivers need to choose wisely when to come into pit lane and put on slick tyres. First to arrive at pit entry will be Rebel. Sergeant Bill's out on track. He's on slicks already on a set of mediums. Rebel stays out. Blockman pits. Sergeant Bill is out of the race. A crash at turn 3 brings out the safety car. Blockman's in pit lane. He's going to... will he gain from this? I don't know. He'll pit onto a set of hard compound tyres. Yeah, he should gain from this. Because Rebel should pull away a lot further if it weren't for the safety car coming out. Alright. Blockman may or may not take the lead. He's on the hard compound tyre now. Youngling coming out. See what they change onto. Set of hard, set of hard, set of mediums, 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 set of hards. Saucy's in. What does he go for? Set of hard tyres. See, you always worry when you see drivers pit onto hard tyres in these kinds of conditions. They're very, very greasy conditions. You need to hope that the track evolves quickly. If not, you're basically driving on an ice skating rink with those hard tyres. Flavius is on a set of mediums, same with Mr. Nars. And he should pass Flavius. Looks like he... maybe not. He'll come out behind Flavius. These two actually came together during qualifying, so it's a bit odd to see them next to each other on the racetrack once again. Yeah, these two will be at the back of the field now. Rebel and Bompton, they have to pit. What will they pit on to? Here comes Rebel. Walkman's still making his way around. He is being controlled by a Delta. He's not sending it just yet. Now he's going to give it some when he crosses the line. Rebel's making his way out. Oh, and he spins in pit entry! Oh, he lost control of the car while applying the accelerator. I think he bonked the wall. He might have got damage from that, I'm not sure, but his car kicked sideways, exiting the pits. He's in front of his teammate. I didn't think anything was going to happen there. Rebel floored the accelerator, exiting the pits, and whooshka, the back end of the car stood out. Fortunately, he's still running. And Bompton in third place on hard compound tyres as well. So the top five, they've all pitted onto hards. Those behind have pitted onto mediums. Mick, KD, Mighty Wombat, and the Harmester. Subfoline's on a set of hards. Same with Saucy in P11. Flavius on a set of mediums, and Mr. Nars is back in. Pitting onto a set of hard compound tyres. Yeah, I reckon you got super lucky, Rebellion. Gee whiz. Somehow that front end of the car didn't break. Almost Grosjeaned it, man. That's not a good thing. Oh. Alright. So a proper mix-up when it comes to strategy. These hard runners, they're planning to go to the end of the race on their tyres. Medium runners are planning to send it. They have to send it, they've got no choice. Hello, Bags. Welcome to the chat. Oh. At 15 cars, we've had 2 retirements, we're down to 13. We almost had a few more with what happened on the opening lap, and Rebel, as I mentioned, almost Grosjeaning it in pit entry. We'll have a quick squiz as well at position changes while we're here. So it's still an Alpine 1-2, they haven't changed places. Bompton up 2, Youngling up 3, Take It Easy up 4, Little Mick up 2. KD and Mighty Wombat came together on the opening lap, sending them both down the order. They've recovered to 7th and 8th, but they're down 3 and 5 positions from where they started. The Harmester up 2, Subfoline hasn't changed position, he's still 10th. Saucy, he was involved in a shunt at turn 3. He's moved all the way down to P11. He's on the recovery. Flavius, P12. He was involved in that shunt as well. I think Mr. Nars might have been too. Mr. Nars, serving a qualifying ban, has moved up 2 positions thanks to retirements of Sergeant Bill and Insane Sparty. Yeah, a little bit, Bags. Well, what I definitely saw was KD and Mighty Wombat coming together at turn 1. I don't know, and I think it was Wombat in front of KD. KD hit the back of him. I don't know if KD was helped into that situation though. I didn't quite see that, but I definitely saw KD hitting the back of his teammate. Alright. Waiting on Mr. Nars to catch up. Considering how far back he is, I think we might be doing one more lap behind the safety car. And this will give prime opportunity for everyone who underfueled their car at the start of the race to get their fuel back. So they should be all set to get to the end of the race drama-free when it comes to fuel. Look at some of the other details as well. Got stops, everyone's made at least 1 stop. Saucy's made 2, Flavius made 2, Mr. Nars has made 3. Those are the tyres, we've already made mention of that. And no one with a time penalty either. Get rid of the tyre graphic for just a bit. Just try and open up the viewing space. I'll tell you what, we're still behind the safety car, we can still keep it up. Might move it away for the restart just to increase the viewing space, and then when everybody settles down, we can bring it back again. Yeah, those hard runners at the front, they need to make sure their tyres are warm and ready for the restart. If they're not, well, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody spins it while getting on the gas through turn 18 and 19. I mean, those set of corners, they seem to be inconspicuous, but they are a tricky bit of the racetrack. I've seen on several occasions drivers spinning out through turn 18 in particular when they make their way out of the hairpin. So these hard runners really do need to make sure their tyres are nice and warm. The medium runners are in the same boat. It's just a lot easier to get these tyres up to temperature compared to the hards. But yeah, for the hard runners, they need to make sure their tyres are warm and ready for the restart. Can't be slouching around here. They need to weave. They need to make sure their brakes are nice and warm, ready for turn 1. Otherwise, we're going to have some incidents on the restart. As we know, safety cars just breed incidents. That's all they do. Alright. Safety car light should go out here. There we go. Safety car in this lap. So Rebel will now take control of the field. Pole sitter still leading the way, is weaving about. With someone doing a Raikkonen impression, let's take it easy in the Ferrari. He really should not be doing that on the hard tyre. Right on board with Rebel. When does he go? Not taken off just yet. He's now taken off through turn 18 and around turn 19. He's got 0.6 of a second already on Blockman. We're back on the green flag conditions here at Miami. It's lap 10 of 29. We've got a long, long way to go. Little Mick, KD battling away at turn 1. As we head towards turn 2, KD gets in front. Moves into P6 as Wombat tries to look around the outside of Little Mick here at turn 3. He'll give himself the inside line at turn 4. Can he get in front? Yes, he can. That's P7 for Mighty Wombat. Little Mick down to 8th position. Saucy upper place already. He's up to P10 as the Harmesis goes round the outside at turn 8. He's going to make this stick. He gets in front. A nice move there from the Alfa Romeo driver. Into P8 he goes. Behind Little Mick is Saucy now, who is closing the gap. KD getting by, take it easy. Down the inside at turn 11, Youngling and Bompton battling away at turn 11. As we make our way through turn 12, the Harmesis and Little Mick are still giving each other a hard time, battling away at turn 11. As we head through the chicane of 14 and 15, there is KD on the medium compound tyre, closing in, ready to pounce. As we head down the back straightaway towards turn 17. No DRS available just yet. Youngling in the slipstream. Take it easy, being passed. Wombat down the inside. Take it easy, gets a better run on the outside. He gets the traction down. Little Mick and the harness is still going at it. Here comes Saucy. Down the inside at the final corner. He moves through into 9th place. Closing in on Little Mick. Looks to the inside. Does not commit to a move. He's way too far back. Oh, Youngling off the circuit. Round the outside goes KD. Here comes Take It Easy. He's going to try and follow through. Down the inside at turn 4. Youngling tries to fight back. We have yellows out. It's Mr. Nars spinning at turn 3. Take It Easy runs wide. He'll keep the position. One that had a look, a sneaky look down the inside there at turn 8. Well, typically an overtaking spot as KD closes in. Goes round the outside here at turn 10. Gets in front of Bompton and into P3. Youngling gets overtaken. Down the inside goes Mighty Wombat into 6th place. Almost making contact through turn 12. To get out to the right-hander. Youngling down in 7th place now after that mistake earlier in the lap. Make a mistake at turn 2. Little Mick and Saucy just behind. Little Mick switches on the battery. Tries to pull away from the Aston Martin. Mighty Wombat closing in. The overspeed is real. Down the inside here at turn 17. Pulls the car up. Oh, and Bompton misses the apex. He could get 2 for 1 here. He does. Wombat through to 4th. Take It Easy tries to follow through. He's in front. They almost make contact. Heading towards turn 1. So Wombat through to 4th. Take It Easy up to 5th. Bompton down to 6th. Out of turn 3. Up towards the S's. Saucy gets by Mick. Round the outside at turn 3. Saucy up to P8. His next target is Youngling in the Williams. Some tie battling here in the midfield. They're all giving it some. It's good to watch. And Wombat's car was pretty quick down the straight, but how about everybody else? Youngling has got a pretty quick Williams underneath him. So does Bompton. Heading up towards turn 11. Youngling looks. Can't fully commit to it though. Oh! Bompton locks the rears. Catches the slide beautifully. hangs on to P6 and stays within a second of the Ferrari of Take It Easy. Through the chicane. Around turn 16, onto the back straight. Saucy just behind. Right on board here with Bompton. He might have DRS to play with here. Youngling certainly does. Youngling gets by. Saucy a bit too far behind to do anything just yet. Little Mick though is having a crack. Oh, gee whiz! Saucy outbreaks himself by a mile. Loses a place to Little Mick. And he almost took out Bompton in the process. But he fights back. Down the inside of the final corner. He eventually gives in. Little Mick moves to 8th. Oh, but Little Mick outbreaks himself. An opportunity for Saucy to get by. And he gets through at turn 2. Back into 8th position. Little Mick down to 9th after that mistake. Back up to this, shall we? Wombat trying to break away from Take It Easy. We saw how much straight line speed he had naturally without DRS. So he'll be looking to try and break away. That's what he's doing so far. 8/10 is the gap. Still needs to work hard. Pull away even further. KD has not made any inroads on the top 2. Rebel and Blockman leading the way. Putting together a pretty fine race right now. They're on the hard tyre. They look uncatchable. Even though KD and Wombat are behind on the mediums. Back to this, shall we? We got Bompton in P7, Saucy in P8. Bompton's got no DRS, so here comes Saucy. He'll open his and close in on the Red Bull. Not closing in by a tremendous amount though. Heading around turn 17, Saucy closes in under brake. Oh, but a huge tank slapper. Costs him time. He's in no position to attack here into turn 1. Little Mick's on the back of Saucy. A great battle between these two. Both drivers giving it some. Both on different compounds as well. Little Mick more than likely will have to make another pit stop in this race. He's not giving up. He has every right to fight for this position. Now Youngling has an opportunity to catch up, to take it easy. He's within a second. He'll open DRS here. He'll close the gap. Not by enough to attack here at turn 11. Close in, apply some extra pressure to take it easy, and perhaps find a way by at turn 17. Meanwhile, the top 2 separated by 8/10. And now a second. Blockman with a terrible run out of turn 16, it seems. Still has DRS. That's how close he was at the DRS protection zone. He lost a chunk of time to Rebel. Saucy closing in down the back straight away towards turn 17. Not close enough. Here's the 2 Mercedes of KD and Mighty Wombat. Looking pretty solid right now in P3 and P4. Oh, Wombat almost goes into the back of his teammate. Saucy closes in. Applying pressure to Bompton. Bompton's hanging on as they head around turn 3. Saucy with a wider line, trying to get the traction. Through the S as we go. Around the triple left-hander of 6, 7 and 8. Heading up towards turn 11. Can Saucy do anything? DRS open. Doesn't have a lot of battery left to play with. Down towards the left-hander. Not close enough. Not close enough. Oh, Little Mick goes into the wall. He must have outbroke himself. He turned right to avoid Saucy in the Aston. Could hear a brief thud. Mick, oh, bit of a slide, bit more of a slide, bit more of a slide. Gee whiz. It's either lag or his car is absolutely sliding everywhere. Has absolutely no grip. Youngling, here we go. A move to the inside. Gets by Take It Easy. That's for 5th place. Saucy a bit too far behind to try and attack Bompton as Blockman sets a new fastest lap for 31.0. Onto the main straight. Saucy just doesn't have the straight line speed necessary to move by Bompton. He is stuck behind the Red Bull. Needs to try and save up some battery and get by. He's got speed through the corners, but what good does that do you when you've got a car right in front of you? You only go as fast as the slowest car in the train, especially if it's a leader. DRS open. Oh, now Bompton's got some DRS, so he'll be closing in on Take It Easy. Take It Easy still has some DRS. He's within a second of Youngling, so this group might form a train. Might have a battle on for P5 between 4 different cars. Oh, and a poor run there from Bompton. An opportunity arises for Saucy as he moves through into 7th. So a slight mistake there from the Red Bull driver, losing control. Managed to gather it up pretty well. I don't think he hit a barrier. He's now down in 8th place with DRS. So he can try and keep up with Saucy as Rebel sets a new fastest lap. A 30.8 on the hard compound tyre. 2 Alpines substantially quicker than the rest of the field as Bompton gets a time penalty for speeding in pit lane. He might have actually hit the wall and got damage from that. That is really unfortunate if that's the case. So he's pitted onto a set of medium compound tyres. We bring up the fastest lap times. Rebel with a 30.8, Blockman with a 31.0, KD with a 31.4, Mighty Wombat with a 31.1. Youngling with a 31.6 and Take It Easy with a 31.8, well as Saucy and Bompton, they're also in the 31s, but Rebel is the only driver right now in the 1 minute 30s comes to lap time. We have 4th gear reaching full throttle, punching it down the back straightaway with Blockman in tow. DRS open on Wombat's car, keeping up with his teammate. Take It Easy under pressure here from Saucy. Here comes the Aston. A look. No send. Interesting. He just doesn't have any straight line speed in that Aston. He's got no go juice in that car down the straightaways, but he's got all the downforce through the corners. Here we go. A move to the inside at turn 1. Take It Easy fights back, but doesn't have the grip to keep it on the outside. He loses control through turn 2. Managed to catch a very good slide. Now down in P7 as a result. Saucy up to P6. Field starting to spread out on lap 18 of 29 here at Miami Gardens. Closest battle we have is between the 2 Alpines as Mr. Nas has spun at turn 3. There goes Bompton, and that's a reset to track. That's a no-no. If anyone reports that, that's going to be a penalty. Still surprised with how many people do that. It's against the rules. Here is day. I'm surprised that any league would allow reset to track, especially in those kinds of circumstances. You lose control, you get it back in the right direction your own way, and leave it up to the game to do it for you, because you can't trust it. As soon as because for whatever reason, when you click reset to track, it chucks you onto the racing line as Rebel sets a new fastest lap. It chucks you right onto the racing line. It just makes no sense for the game or why a developer would do that. to just put your car on the racing line when you reset. As the harnesses is spun, as that turn 17, he's waiting for Flavius. Oh, Flavius came to a stop. He goes into the pits. Yeah, when you reset, put you onto the racing line, and the ghosting system usually kicks in, but sometimes it doesn't. So it's enforced in the rules that you have to get back in the right direction your own way, and there's only very limited circumstances where it's okay to reset. One of those being that your car is trapped on a curb or on a bump and you can't move. Then it's alright to reset the track, but you need to make sure there are no cars around, otherwise you're going to get in a lot of trouble. And I'm still surprised to see how many people still do it. And in front, Rebel. Big lift there at turn 17. The apex by a third chunk there as he reapplies the accelerator through turn 18 and 19. See how he's doing. We'll bring up the lap data. There isn't much else going on around the racetrack right now. See how the leader fares on his 13-lap-old mediums around Miami International Autodrome. Into the S's we go. Turn 4, turn 5, turn 6, very steady. Not using the full width of the circuit available there, you can use a little bit more. Quickly reapplying the power in 4th gear. Load the DRS and head up towards... Oh, sorry, no DRS. No one's in front of him. Head towards turn 11 regardless. And the brakes down to 3rd. Back on the power. We'll shift up to 4th. Through the chicane. Around turn 16. Back on the full power, using a bit of the battery. Teammate at bay. All the way down to 3rd gear. Back on the power in 4th. 5th gear. 6th. Around the final corner, up towards the line. 30.9 from Rebel. Missing out on improving on his PB by 0.2 of a second. Meanwhile, Blockman behind. 7/10 behind to be exact. 6th gear through turn 4. 5th gear through turn 5. Around turn 6. Having to modulate the throttle a lot. Brings it down to 3rd. Short shifts up to 4th. Head through this part of the circuit. Wombat's closing in on KD as well. But they won't battle. 2 teammates won't battle. Down to 2nd. Up to 3rd. Down to 2nd. Wombat. Oh, he actually does overtake his teammate. How about that? I didn't think they'd pass, but there you go. KD's let Wombat through. Properly revving it out. Gee whiz. Out of turn 16. Down to 2nd, back on the power, nice and easy. Reaching full throttle eventually. 31.2. 2.5 off his PB. That's how you do it, folks, at the front of the field. Got 10 seconds back to the Mercedes of Wombat and KD. Got 8 laps to go. Don't know if those tyres will do another 8 laps. I suppose there's only one way of finding out. Little Mix not giving up. He's on the back of Take It Easy, making his way around turn 3. Into the S's, turns 4, 5, On the left of 6. Bring it down to 3rd gear. Back on the power. Mick losing a little bit of time. He's still within DRS range though. KD will just be following his teammate now. Both drivers probably hoping to get to the end on their tyres. If they pit, they lose a ton of positions. Not that it really matters for them in the team's championship right now. Alpine have them covered, and if they finish 1-2, they're definitely getting the team's championship at the end of this round. At the moment, they're not looking like they're going to slow down anytime soon. Got a ton of battery to play with. And looks somewhat untouchable out there. Little Mick down the inside of Take It Easy, heading around turn 17. Take It Easy, hanging on as KD pits. So his tyres can't do it. He's in for fresh tyres. He's on to a new set of mediums. He'll come out behind Sub for Lime down in P9. It'll be interesting to see if he can charge back through, try and gain a couple of positions back. For his teammate Mighty Wombat, however, he needs to hang on to this track position for the sake of the Drivers' Championship. Both Rebel and Blockman are mathematically in contention right here. Saucy's in the fight as well. He can make it on those tyres, and so can the 2 Alpines. But Wombat on those mediums, it's going to be touch and go, but he needs to hang on to every place he can keep. Little Mick closing in, but not by enough to attack into turn 11. He'll stay behind here. And in front, minding their own business. 11.4 seconds is now the gap. Rebel will cross the line, set a 31.0 as KD gets a time penalty. Doing that through the chicane, I'd imagine. So that will just rub some extra salt into the wound after losing all that track position after having to make a pit stop. He's out of battery too. Yellow's out. Oh, it's Wombat! Wombat has spun at turn 2. Well, there we go. I said he needed to hang on to the track position. He's just thrown it away. It's no puncture either. His tyres are still intact. He's just lost control in the opening sector, and he's dropped all the way down to 5th. Needs to be very careful now. Those tyres are going to be hot. Youngling promoted to P3. Saucy gains a place. This helps him out for his championship chances. Every point counts. He's 2nd in the championship behind Mighty Wombat. KD gets by Sub for Lime. Round the outside of turn 11. He moves through into 8th. Little Mick can Take It Easy. Are still going at it. P6 and 7 on track. They head around turn 16. Little Mick not giving up on his tyres, so you can see from the grooves on the tyre. It's pretty well worn. You can see it here in the daylight. There's fine grooves on the tyre. They are properly worn. Mick doesn't care though. Round the outside at turn 17. Pulls the car up. Take It Easy. He's not giving up. The Ferrari's got the nose in front. Heading around the final corner. DRS open on the half. Down the inside goes Mick. And through he goes into P6, but he overshoots it, runs wide. He'll rejoin back down in 7th. That's reminiscent of Leclerc and Magnussen. Take It Easy, hanging on. Mick fighting, giving it everything. Good battling. Can't help but feel though, the more they battle, the more this guy closes in. Fortunately for them, he does have a 3-second time penalty next to his name, but he's got fresh tyres and he's going for it. Up towards turn 11. Mick closes in. Not by enough to get by. Alright, heading up the hill now towards the chicane. 14 and 15. Clobbering over the curbs. Around turn 16. There's KD. Getting closer and closer. DRS open. Closing the gap up to take it easy. You can see the considerable speed difference in straight line performance. We head around the hairpin, take it easy, parks the bus a little bit at the exit of the corner, keeps Mick at bay, but KD closes in, 10th, after 10th, corner after corner. Round turn 3. Now 1.1, now 1 second, as I said, 10th after 10th, he's closing in. Every corner he goes through, he's closing in. But then he has the job, passing these two and building a gap of 3 seconds as the harnesses is spun. That's at turn 17. Get into gear and get going. He's now down in 13th place. Little Mick, he's hanging on. KD doesn't have the straight line speed, but he's got the braking performance. He's got the cornering performance in that car. Can't find a way by yet. Can't find a way through here. No way. Look at that speed difference through the corners. It's incredibly noticeable. Using whatever battery he's got left, but Little Mick, his car's a rocket ship in a straight line. 208. There's 208 for the Mercedes. Some serious straight line speed in that half, keeping him in the fight. Around the final corner onto the main straightaway. DRS open again. Out of turn 2 and around turn 3. Up towards the S's now. KD looks. He'll have corner speed through here. There'll be an opportunity. He cuts way too much of turn 5. Looks to the inside here. Got the nose in front. Contact. And around goes the pair of them. Oh, you wouldn't believe it if that happened in real life. Such minuscule contact. And it sends both of them around. You're joking. How does that happen? With contact like that, how do they both spin? You can't actually be serious. Down into turn 11, KD sends it. Contact. Oh, they don't spin this time, gang. They don't spin this time. Oh, what a load of rubbish. How do they make contact like that and they both spin? You can't actually... Oh, gee whiz, bumped and threw it into the wall. You can't actually be serious with this stuff. You just can't. This game has no integrity whatsoever. It's a pile of rubbish. We play it every week. How does contact like that result in that kind of spin? I do not understand. Absolute rubbish that this game is. Little Mick is into the pits. Yellows are out. That's the harnesses bringing those out. Oh, that's such a shame. Minuscule contact. Now, with that kind of contact, Little Mick, normally, here in the real world, where physics actually work, you know, he'd be bumped wide and he'd be pretty upset about that. I would be. I'm like, oi, you know, you got all this grip, why do you bump me wide for? But they bump and they both spin. They both lose all grip and they both spin. What rubbish. KD gets by, sub for line down the inside. Bompton closes in as well. Oh, I think he just gave Subfalime a little tap there through the corner. Oh, that didn't spin the net. That's amazing. Alright, what do these two do? Does Rebel hang on to the race lead? Will he win this event, or will he give the win to his teammate, give Blockman a better chance of winning the Drivers' Championship? I mean, they've got the Team's Championship all wrapped up, and I'll repeat it, Rebel's still in mathematical contention here. If he wins this race, he'll give himself a decent points haul heading into Imola, the final round. So what does he do? Does he let Blockman through? Here we go. Blockman closes in, looks, doesn't go for a move. And around the Mickey Mouse section for one last time as Little Mick gets by Mr. Nars. I feel bad for Mick. He was performing well. Had contact with KD, and I'm still absolutely frustrated with that. And here we go. Here is the move of the race. Rebel letting his teammate through. Blockman will take the lead heading into the final three corners. This will help his championship chances from the driver's point of view. It's a dominant day for Alpine. Blockman wins with Rebel home in second. And Alpine 1-2. They become the Season 8 America's Tier 1 Teams Champions. Saucy gets a 5-second penalty for overtaking in yellow flags. Oh, so he must have overtook the harm assist, and he got a time penalty because of that. Youngling will complete the podium places in third. Saucy gets a time penalty. He will hang on to fourth, though. Yeah, that will be his. We head around the final corner. Mighty Wombat will come home in fifth. Take It Easy in P6. Followed by KD, who finishes in seventh. And Sub has spun. That is at turn 9. And I think he's just thrown away a potential P8 with that mistake. He has. It'll be P9 for the McLaren driver. Little Mick will round out the top 10. And we have Mr. Nars right behind. Followed by Flavius as Mick sets the fastest lap with a 30.5. He'll take that extra point. And Flavius, he'll come home in 12th position. Our final finisher in front of the Harmicist, who was a lap down. Drive of the day given to Youngling. Fair choice. Started in the middle of the pack. Ended up finishing on the podium. Oh. There was no hunting down the Alpine duo of Blockman and Rebel. Blockman, our victor here in Miami. Rebel home in second. Youngling completing the podium places in third. And with this result, Alpine are our team's champions. The unofficial results then of the Miami Grand Prix. Blockman is your race winner by 0.4 of a second to Rebel, who let him on through on the final lap. Held Blockman's chances of winning the Drivers' Championship. And Alpine 1-2 secures them the team's title for Season 8 here in America's Tier 1. Youngling, after starting in 7th, will finish on the podium in 3rd, with Saucy home in 4th. Mighty Wombat could have been up there, but a mistake meant that he finishes in 5th. Take It Easy, P6. KD in 7th. Bompton, P8, followed by Subfalime in 9th. Little Mick down in P10 with fastest lap. Mr. Nars, P11, followed by Flavius in 12th. The Harmicist in 13th. Our retirements of Sergeant Bill and Insane Sparty both changed the complexion of the race, especially with what happened with Bill bringing out the safety car, and ultimately decided who ended on what tyre for this Grand Prix. Yes, an interesting one here in Miami. We had plenty of action during the mid-phase of the race. We had plenty of drama at the beginning of it. And the ending was, you know, a bit dreary here and there, but it had its moments. So it was kind of a bit what you expect here at Miami Gardens and a bit what you don't expect. Some good old-fashioned racing, which has actually been a pretty decent trope of Miami. You can see a bit of side-by-side racing, especially at turn 11. It's a properly good overtaking spot on the racetrack. Turns 11 and 12. It really does open up a fair few opportunities to try and pass. Yes, an interesting session of racing. It'll be fascinating to see the context of the championship battle heading into the final round. Of course, we will more than likely have steward stuff to look at. There were a fair few incidents over the course of the race. Thank you, Rebellion. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens heading into the final round. Still believe we have 3 drivers in mathematical contention after this. Potentially 4. We'll have to see how the points pan out for yourself, Rebellion. I know you're a fair ways behind, like you were 45 behind Mighty Wombat. So yeah, no, you should still stay in mathematical contention. Or if I'm not mistaken, you should stay in mathematical contention. So yeah, we should have a 4-driver fight for the title next week heading into the final round. So that'll be really, really interesting to listen to. And a final congratulations for the Alpine duo. Blockman and Rebel, a 1-2 finish, securing the team's championship for Alpine. Oh well, there you go, there's your intentions for the Drivers' Championship. Fair play. But yeah, 4 drivers in mathematical contention for the Drivers' Championship heading into the final round, so definitely tune in. But I think, folks, with everything said and done, it's time for us to end the stream. Thank you everyone so much for watching. I've been Lane Everingham, and we'll see you next week for the final round of the championship, round 15 at Autodromo Enzo Edina Ferrari, better known as Imola, for the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. Until then, it's goodbye.